Hello, making another video. Spa treatment with blue clay. Yeah, I watched a German documentary film my friend Mirka sent me. When I turned that on, I saw that I had already watched half of that film previously, like a while back, must have. Because it always shows where you left off watching a film. So I had already worked my way half through that film and probably got interrupted with something, or I got depressed by the film and I had to turn it off. So anyway, I watched the rest of it today and oh gosh, I cried so much. I cried so much over this German lady, what happened to her in Morocco with her Moroccan husband, and he kicked her out, and a real gentle, sweet woman. He kicked her out, and he took his two sons that he had with her, two children, took them hostage, sort of, and abducted them, and she didn't get to see them for many, many years. She had to go back to Germany alone, and the children were crying from the other room, "Mommy!" And it just oh, when I see something like this, I'm finished. It's just too much. It's too much for me to take. That's overwhelming. And so just the overwhelming pain that comes out of that situation. But she didn't give up. She took a lawyer. She got him to come to Germany, and they arrested him there for abducting her children. And she had good lawyers, and he didn't get to claim anything which he wanted to do. It was all about money for him. And the psychopath was sent back to Morocco, and it's just the pain of this, this incredible pain, and then also this anger, that I feel together with that woman. The grief, the pain, the anger, the sadness, the shock over the callousness, and I feel with her, this innocent woman, kind-hearted, gentle, giving, innocent person. And all the other women, the same thing, all giving, kind-hearted, gentle, open-minded, all embracing, non-judgmental, naive, and they get ripped off and taken advantage of like there's no tomorrow. And then we get bitterly accused by the psychos and by the psycho apologists for becoming bitter and accusational towards them. So they are becoming bitter and accusational against us for being bitter and accusational against them. That's how it goes. You Islamophobe? You bet, I write. That's what I'm going to write back from now on. You bet. It's like a nation of psychopaths. Yeah. And it won't do the world any good. It doesn't do the world any good to treat, to give these people a house, money, citizenship, so they can rape and abuse and plunder and make the world a a pothole, a shithole country, make a shithole country out of Sweden, out of Germany, Holland, all of these countries that have done so well over the last couple of hundred years. I mean, that have not always, they have history too of suffering and all of this, but they have really worked their way up. They have worked their way so well up towards kindness, fairness, trust, good quality products, hard working, relatively compared to the world, relatively honest, relatively fairly hard-working, decent people that care, that want to have a decent quality life. And then these psychos come in there and they make a pothole country out of it. It's amazing. And then when anyone says anything, you party pooper, you uneducated redneck, you Islamophobe. Sorry, I don't want your party. I don't want to be invited to your party, to your apologist party, to your be popular party. I don't want this. I don't want to be part of that shit. Seriously, I don't want to. I'm sitting here at home doing artwork and I'm waiting for the robots to come. Seriously, I really do. Every day I am knitting on my future. I don't want to call it hope, because hope is dope, but on my future I would call it my future events of AGIs coming to the world and saving the situation and bringing art, as Jonathan Meso always said. Humans cannot rule the world, okay? I could not rule the world. I would probably do much better than a lot of apologists out there, or better than, I'm not going to call any names. So I think Donald Trump's doing very well, actually. So I'm not going to even mention the other people. So glad that Donald Trump is there. Hillary Clinton would have held the other cheek, because that's part of her platform. And it's an apologist platform, the Democratic Party. So, and for that matter, I don't side with that at all. I think this is dangerous, very dangerous for the world to be liberal in that regard. So there's a lot of liberal stuff that I fully agree with, but definitely not when it comes to pothole, shithole, psychopathic muddying of the world. I'm not on board with that, sorry. I'm not going to hold the other cheek and say, here, you give a psychopath legislation over a red button. I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about, like the leader of Islamic Nation or something. So you want to give people like this, you want to give them like jobs where they have leverage, where they can push a red button, or whether you want to give them jobs flying airplanes, you want to give those people jobs of being in charge of police department or something like this. That's what I'm referring to. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous. Just because, hey, we are not prejudiced. this is a very, very, very politically incorrect video, but it needed to be done. Once in a while I have to do one of those. Once in a while it is due to make one of those, because I need to talk about it, and I need other people to become aware about it. And I don't like injustice. I don't like what's happening to the Buddhists. You know, I don't like how the Muslims are treating the Buddhists at all. This is absolutely an atrocity, and how they're treating women and animals and dogs and children, and treating any of them. I mean, it's madness. It's total insanity. It's like giving someone who's criminally insane a job at the police department, or a job at any administration office, or letting them become the head of the FDA, or president, or whatever, or political leader of any kind of government, or any kind, or like a surgeon in a hospital. Do you want, seriously, I mean, I really want to know something to the apologists out there. Do you want, I'm really serious, do you want to have a surgeon who is a jihadist? I don't think so. I seriously don't think so. I seriously doubt that any of you out there, any of these wannabe popular type of like politically correct and intellectually dishonest type of pee on poop ons. I really want to know whether you want to end up in the hospital and have Mohammed al-Bin Zalia, jihadist, former ISIS member, doing your heart surgery. I really don't think so. So no. This needed to be said. No one says it, so I do. Maybe someone else. Maybe there are some other people talking about this, but maybe they didn't ask this direct question. So that's why this direct question needed to be asked. It's very, very important. Okay. And what makes me so irritated about this, so incredibly irritated about it, is knowing what's underneath this behavior in people when they accuse people of being Islamophobes, and blaming them for being an Islamophobe, and looking down on them for being afraid, and thinking they are super, super great by holding the other cheek with all of these things. They're super, super great, and they're super intellectual, or enlightened, or something. And everyone who's afraid of Muslims is being tossed in the garbage can. And what's underneath that is, what's really underneath that is extreme intellectual dishonesty, double standard, and most of all, self-image adhering. Okay, self-image adhering to the self-image of being popular. Being popular, and not even realizing how they are making the world miserable with this with this peon behavior. So, and it's what Albert Einstein said: if you observe a crime and you look the other way deliberately, you make yourself responsible also for that crime. And that is also applied to political situations, to social situations like this, society, social dynamics, and social psychology. Things that, when people, when they have sort of like a distance to something, when it's not immediately, not imminently standing in front of their door, then they're very quick to jump on any kind of irresponsible bandwagon and bully people for not being on that bandwagon. So I don't have anything against anyone. I like every person who is decent and wonderful. There is a guy, his name is Wasim. He's an atheist. He is from Iraq, and he is a peace activist. And I think he lives in France now. I forgot the last name. It's very hard for me to remember Iraqi names or Arabic names. But by itself, I find these names very interesting sounding, beautiful sounding. I like belly dancing music. I'm a fan of Buran Kassan. I don't know him personally. I can only say I hope he's a decent person, but I like his music. I like the belly dancing music. There's a lot of nice belly dancing music out there. There's a lot of charm in it, a lot of depths, and a lot of feeling and stuff like this. So I'm not an Islamophobe or Islamophobe in regards to the neutral things that come from that culture, or the prettier things that come from the culture. What I am opposed to is the same as I'm opposed to worldwide. I am opposed to violence. It doesn't matter whether it is conducted by a blonde albino person, or a person who is this color, or a person who is black or brown or purple or whatever color, or it doesn't matter. It could be any being from out of space. If the person is kind, is gentle, sings belly dancing music, it's beautiful. So it's nice. I will dance and sing with him. I will hug him. If he is big and strong and gorgeous, I will probably love him as a lover. I don't know. Any could be anyone. It doesn't matter, if I'm attracted. So we are usually attracted to someone sexually who is different genetically to us. So that alone debunks this Islamophobe type of thing. Like, oh, you're only hating him because of his skin color. Nope. Sorry. Right there, it's debunked. Okay. No, I do, and I think most women, okay, do not like violent men. That's what the problem is. Not the skin color, not the ethnicity, okay, not a different culture, because we're culturally scared. Oh, he's different, I better be scared. No, sorry, it's all debunked. When people are friendly and kind and loving, we are on board. More than they deserve. Because more than the psychopath deserve. Okay, we are on board, and we are naively on board. When a person is kind, then he deserves it. Yes, he deserves a loving, gentle German or Swedish or Hollandish lady or whatever. So, yeah. But if he is a complete psychopath, he doesn't deserve the naive, gentle, sweet German lady. No, sorry, he just doesn't. He doesn't deserve asylum in Germany from Angela Merkel. He doesn't deserve it if he is a total asshole, brutal monster. Sorry, that's just the way it is. It has nothing to do with anyone's ethnicity or cultural background. The cultural background itself is not what we are against. We are against violence, if that makes any sense. We are against violence, and rightly so. We are against misconduct. We are against assholes. We are against brutality. We are against cruelty. Okay. And yes, there's a lot of violence in those people's culture. So just because it's a different culture doesn't mean I have to accept it. I don't have to accept it. When it's violent, I don't have to accept someone else's culture. Whether it's a culture or not a culture, it makes no difference. If there's violence in it, in their education, then I'm opposed to it. Okay? And you should be opposed to it too. Whatever religion you're coming from, you should be opposed to it too. You should be opposed to violence. And this is just commonsensical, very uncommon, though, in parentheses. This is commonsensical, rational, sensical approach that I'm taking here. A totally fresh approach that doesn't come from any camp or any bias or any intellectual group siding or something, or academic self-image, or elitist type of self-image, or stupid self-image, or whatever self-image, redneck or religious or whatever. It doesn't come from any of this. It comes from seeing things for what they are and having compassion. That's where it comes from. That's where my views come from. And that's what I'm trying to convey to the public. That's what I'm wishing from the public to do as well. Make art instead of chadors. Art is love. Make art instead of violence and oppression and all of these things. Love your children for whom they are. They have a right to go on the internet. They have a right to date someone outside of your customs and religion and society. You don't own your children. You don't own your wives. They live here for their own reasons. They're supposed to be your friends. You're supposed to be their friend. One time a guy from, what's that, Algeria, wrote to me on Facebook, and he was real proud to say that he has 2 Algerian wives, and he would like to add me to his collection. Yeah. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, that would be fun. Huh? And I said, just wanted, out of curiosity, I asked, are your wives cool with that? To have a German lady added to the collection? I seriously doubt it. And then he said, he just asked them. And they said, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, because I think if they said it's not nice, he would beat him or something. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And I have rarely met someone so intellectually dishonest as that guy. This entire conversation that we were having was also another person from the United States was in that conversation as well. And he just started to insult the guy from the United States to make himself look better to me, as if that made him look better to me. And it just was a total disaster. I just see this incredible pain and agony in that. There's just so much agony in it. And they really think this is the way to live. They don't question it, not even once. They like being the psychopath and being the oppressor. And it suits them. It, it tastes okay to them. As long as they're the oppressor and not the oppressed. But that's what a psychopath is, you know. Psychopath is someone who does not consider the other living being, doesn't feel the other living being at all. The woman is his possession. Most men on this planet are seeing women as an object of pleasure, and that is a commodity, and that is material possession without any rights. You know, we had feminists work for hundreds of years on this in the Western world. Now they want to throw that away. They want to invite they want to muddy the water that they have so painfully, thoroughly, ardently created. The order they have created, they want to muddy now by bringing in people who are calloused, who are regressive. I don't understand. I don't get it. To me, a feminist who doesn't speak out against Islam is not a feminist. No, that's not a feminist. Sorry. To me, a feminist is a feminist is also not a militant feminist. A militant feminist who hates all men there are good men too. No, and I don't want injustice of any sort to happen to any living being. I don't want any group or party to take over and oppress another. I don't want to see that in the world. A real, true feminist is someone who is an egalitarianist, who wants peace, who wants to end suffering in the world, who's against violent religion, against chadors, against oppression, who's for equal rights, and who wants all living beings to be safe and happy. That to me is a real feminist. That's just my personal view on it, my personal opinion. And not someone who's a feminist just to belong to some kind of group. That's not a feminist. A feminist, that comes from within. From a feeling of deep justice and compassion. This is highly beneficial for my nerves. I need that. It's very painful for me to see injustices in the world. Very, very painful.